Welcome to Mindfucks with Mahara, where we flip your perspective, challenge your thinking, and leave you feeling surprisingly amazing about it all. I'm your host, Mahara, and this podcast, it's for the rebels ready to rage against their comfort zone, for those willing to flip their finger at mediocrity and sit in the fire of discomfort, knowing that's where the magic happens. Each episode, I'll share insights that might just blow your mind in the best possible way. So, if you are ready to have your world rocked and your thoughts rewired, you are in the right place. Let's dive in. Welcome back, you magnificent reality benders. This is Mindfucks with Mahara, where we demolish the limiting beliefs holding you back and rebuild you into the powerhouse that you were meant to be. Today, we are diving deep into the mind-bending reality of the growth zone. Not that cute tiptoe outside of your comfort zone nonsense you've seen on Instagram, and if I'm honest, some of my earlier content. We are talking about the real psychological territory where transformation hits you like lightning and rebuilds you into something extraordinary. Let me paint you a picture of what most people get wrong about growth. They treat it like a weekend spa retreat, a little discomfort, a few Instagram worthy moments, and then back to their cozy routines. But real transformation? It's more like moving to a foreign country with nothing but a backpack and a dream. It's messy, peeps. It's constant and it's absolutely magnificent. Okay, let's get one thing straight. The growth zone isn't a cute little getaway on the weekend. No. It's not about dipping your toe in the water and scampering back to safety. That's amateur hour. And you are not here for amateur hour. You're here because something inside of you is screaming for more today. We're going to answer that scream with a battle cry. So let's look at something. Before we dive into the how-tos, let's geek out for a minute on the science of transformation. Your brain is literally rewiring itself every time you step into discomfort. Those sweaty palms, that racing heart, that's your neural pathways getting a makeover. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you're not just changing your behavior, you are changing your brain's default settings. Think about it like upgrading your phone's operating system. Sure, there might be a few glitches at first, there always is. Well, not always, but often. But once the new system's installed, you can't imagine going back to the old version. Well, that's what we're doing here. We are upgrading your mental operating system from safe and small to bold and unstoppable, from this is how I've always been to hello, badass. Let me take you back to when this podcast was just a really scary idea keeping me up at night. Now, I had already launched The Art of Badassery, but my brain was serving up the need for something more. But I kept hearing, you're not really ready. The market's saturated. You've already got a podcast. Your voice is kind of annoying. Who are you to do a second podcast? I mean, does this sound familiar? That first episode, total chaos. Honestly, I was so nervous, and it's so crazy because it's just me and, just me and the recorder. It's just me and Audible. Not Audible. What's it called? Oh my God, I can't even remember. Audacity. It was just me and Audacity and the dogs. But I was nervous. There were so many ums and ahs. Honestly, my English teacher would have had a fit. And I had to record it multiple times, and it was still a disaster. But I posted it anyway. The second episode, still kind of rough. The third, not quite as bad. But here's where it gets really interesting. After around, I don't know, maybe 7 episodes, something clicked. And the fear, well, it hasn't gone away. It still shows up kind of like an uninvited ex at a party. Every time I sit down to record one of these episodes, I get a little nervous. My stomach has a little bit of a clench in it. But that's the mindfuck of the growth zone. What once paralyzed you becomes your power spot. The discomfort isn't a warning sign anymore. It's my signal that I'm about to level up, and it will be the same for you as well. So I want to tell you about one of my first live workshops. Now, that was a masterclass in growth zone chaos. Picture this. First of all, the day before, I'd had to have emergency surgery, so my jaw was sore on my teeth. But I'm standing in front of a bunch of people. Half my face was hurting because of that surgery. My slides were out of order. Don't ask me how that happened. My carefully planned opening joke fell completely flat. And honest to God, I could feel my soul trying to leave my body. But instead of running away, which, trust me, I thought about it, I leaned into the chaos. I got vulnerable. I shared the mess, and you know what? It became one of the most powerful workshops I've ever led. Listen closely, guys, because this is where everything changes. The growth zone isn't just outside your comfort zone, it needs to become your new home base. It's like moving to a country where you don't speak the language and your favorite food doesn't exist. At first, everything's a struggle. Ordering coffee feels like negotiating world peace. But then, day by day, the strange becomes normal, and normal becomes boring. Guess what? You're ready for the next level. And this is where the magic happens, where you discover parts of yourself that will blow your mind. But here's the mindfuck. You can't commute to the growth zone. You can't be a tourist. You have to move there permanently. Set up shop and burn your map back to comfort town. The growth zone demands consistent discomfort. Now, this isn't the kind that makes you want to hide under your bed, but it's the kind that makes you feel alive. Right now, I feel alive. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you're not just doing something different, you are becoming someone different. Your identity expands, your capacity explodes, your resilience becomes unshakable. Can you say badass? Yeah, okay. Let's talk about the 4 stages of growth zone mastery. That's a bit of a mouthful, but bear with me. Now, the first phase is the resistance phase. You know what that feels like. This is where most people get stuck. I've been there lots of times. Your brain is screaming, danger, while your soul is whispering, finally. Every fiber of your being wants to retreat to safety. This is normal. This is necessary. This is where you learn to differentiate between real danger and the opportunity for growth. The second phase, also known as the awkward phase. Welcome to the teenage years of transformation. You're trying new things. Been doing that for years. You're failing spectacularly. Oh yeah, I'll make another podcast about that. And you're feeling like an imposter. Embrace it. Document it. This phase is pure gold for your future self. The integration phase. This is where the magic starts happening. New behaviors feel more natural. Old fears start looking more like old friends. Still there, but no longer in charge. You're building new neural pathways, and your comfort zone is expanding. And the fourth phase, the expansion phase. Ooh, I love this one. Now you're actually seeking out challenges. I know, right? What once terrified you now excites you. But here's the twist. New fears show up, bigger ones, better ones, and the cycle begins again. But this time, you're stronger, wiser, and ready for more. Now, hold on. I want to touch on something really important. We need to talk about some pitfalls to avoid. First of all, don't mistake thrill seeking for growth. Doing random scary shit just to prove you can isn't growth. It's ego in disguise. Real growth is intentional, strategic, and it's aligned with your bigger vision. Also, watch out for growth zone addiction, that constant need for new challenges that has you bouncing around like a caffeinated squirrel. Real growth includes integration periods where you let your incredible new skills sink in before leveling up again. The comparison trap, you know this one. Your growth zone journey is yours alone. Someone else's chapter 20 might be your chapter 1, and that's perfectly fine. The only person you need to outperform is yesterday's version of yourself. The perfectionism paradox. Growth is messy. If you are waiting to do it perfectly, you'll never do it at all. So embrace the mess. Document the disasters. They're all part of your success story. So, here are some tips for living in the growth zone. Number one, document your victories. I just said that, but keep a mind blown moments log. Every time you do something that terrifies you, write it down. Include the before, the fear, the during, chaos, and after, triumph. This becomes your evidence against future doubt. So when your brain tries to tell you you can't, your log will remind you, hello, I already have. Get specific here. Write down the physical sensations, the mental chatter, the exact moment that things shifted. This isn't just journaling, guys. It's creating a personal playbook for courage. You've probably heard me say this before. It was one of the first things I wrote years ago. Courage is personal currency that pays dividends when you need it most, like living in your growth zone. Another tip, find your edge. Now, the growth zone has a sweet spot where you're challenged enough to feel alive, but not so overwhelmed you want to fake your own death and move to Bali. So, create a personal challenge scale. 1 is Netflix and chill, 10 is absolute panic. Live in the 6 to 8 range because that's where the magic happens. Now, here's how you find your edge. Start your day with one small challenge. Gradually increase the intensity. Notice when excitement turns to terror. Back off a bit, guys, then stabilize. Repeat with a new challenge. Okay, third tip, create growth rituals. So, build daily practices that push you just slightly beyond comfortable. Maybe it's speaking up in every meeting, or reaching out to someone you admire for networking, or maybe just spending 15 minutes on that project that makes your stomach do backflips. The key here really is consistency over intensity. Small daily actions compound to massive transformation. Think of it like, compound interest for your personal growth. Okay, here's some advanced growth zone strategies for those of you that are like chomping at the bit. Environment design. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. Their energy is contagious. Their support, it's invaluable, and their examples will inspire you to push even further. Feedback loops. Create systems to track your progress, right? What gets measured gets managed. I got to repeat that. It's so good. What gets measured gets managed. So use apps, journals, accountability partners, whatever's going to work for you. And third, recovery rituals. Growth requires rest. So create powerful practices for integrating new experiences and preparing for the next challenge. Okay, wow, we've covered a lot in a short period of time. Ready to turn your life into the greatest adventure story ever told? Are you nodding? Perfect. Join me for Rage Against Your Comfort Zone starting January 26th. This isn't another fluffy journal your way to joy program. I swear to God, I promise. This is 4 weeks of intentional discomfort that will reconstruct your reality. Here's what you're going to get. Daily growth challenges customized to your edge. Weekly group coaching calls for real-time support. It's 4 weeks. A private community of fellow reality benders. Join the group, guys. Personal growth tracking system. Lifetime access to all the materials. And a bonus, I'm creating an emergency courage toolkit. You are going to love it. This intensive is specifically designed for women who are done playing small, who are ready to turn their occasional brave moments into a brave life. But heads up, it is not for everyone. If you're looking for comfortable transformation, spoiler alert, doesn't actually exist, but this won't be for you. DM me to claim your spot. Early bird offer includes a free one-on-one with me where we'll map out your personal path to greatness. Don't you just love that? Space is limited because transformation isn't a spectator sport. Remember, your comfort zone will always feel safe, but you weren't born to feel safe. You were born to feel alive. Your dreams, they're waiting in the growth zone and they're getting impatient, ladies. Don't let another day slip by in the cushy prison of comfort. Take action now. Your future self is counting on today's courage. So let's go crush some comfort zones together. Thanks for joining me today. Join me for the next episode of Mindfucks with Mahara, where I'm still talking about comfort zones because that's how much I care. We'll see you next time. Bye.